Well, this story is about bullheads and a bucket that we used on our boat. The problem with our boat is it's very small and there's no bathroom on the boat, and so it's very difficult to to go. So anyway, this one of the difficulties while staying overnight on our small boat is nighttime facilitation. I have usually used a 3-quart plastic milk container with the top cut off and the handle left on, and I tend to remain in the reclined position. "Why don't you get up?" Elizabeth, my partner, would ask in her terse, corrective manner. Well, it's a hard question to answer politely, knowing that she must get up to do her part. I am a bit lazy, or should I say efficient in nature. If a hose could be attached and simply left a bail over the side of the boat, I'm sure I would embrace the idea. Our sea voyages are usually pleasant affairs with new ideas, new places, new people to meet in secluded harbors, but into every trip must come a little shower now and again. Elizabeth had taken to using my nighttime pot for her frequent facilitations, as I had taken her special pot to use to hold fish bait. We use bullheads for fish bait. This proved an uncomfortable arrangement at best because my commode would not support her weight. Unfortunately, a sudden roll of the boat while cresting a wave during one of her moments of relief left my potty in a compromised condition. Business finished, she reached to toss the contents of the pot into the open sea, only to find that there was less left in there than there should have been, the rest having leaked out a hole in the bottom of the pot down into the bilge below the floorboards. Paper towels and never-minds liberally applied seemed to rectify the problem. Unfortunately for me, I was left with a replacement problem. Not difficult on shore, but at sea it became a challenge to find something suitable. The flotsam and jetsam of Barclay Sound on Vancouver Island contained every imaginable form of styrofoam and plastic, but finding the right shape of container for my needs proved very difficult. A search began over the slippery rocks along the shoreline. Bays full of trapped logs contained by the force of the sea revealed many treasures, but the best lavatory container I could find had a very narrow opening at the top. I knew there would be trouble. With my best hopes for nighttime relief, the tall plastic bottle was placed in the bow ahead, ready for nighttime use. The seas rose that evening. The gentle rocking brought on my usual needs. Sleepily, and not used to the bottle with a small hole in it, I only managed, to get part of myself into the bottle. Bent over might best describe the angle. Needless to say, what should have gone in came out, and the shocking discovery of the leak forced me in my half-awake condition to bolt upright. The low ceiling met my forehead with a resounding thump. Wet pajamas slowed me down. But with the task only half completed, I rushed into the aft cabin of our tiny vessel in search of something, anything, with which to finish the job. There, in the dim light, stowed under the rear boat seat, was Elizabeth's special bucket. Its fishy contents forgotten for the moment, I raised the container and with relief commenced what I had already begun. Well, now there's a fish we use as crab bait called a bullhead, which gets its name from that great land beast, the bull. Both creatures have one thing in common: horns, a protective device one would do very well to avoid. Like needles, the bullhead's horns will grip into unsuspecting fingers and clothing, as I was about to be rudely reminded. The bait, forgotten in my haste to make waste, was still alive, swimming in the cold bucket of seawater. They did not like the sudden warm yellow shower directed upon them. One of the more lively fish decided to leave the bucket in great haste. Before I had time to finish my job in hand, with the top of my pajamas wide open, a violent splash came from the bottom of the bucket. An angry bullhead shot up the side of the bucket, over the top, and fell down into my night attire. I suddenly found myself doing a violent hula hoop maneuver to dislodge the fish from my pants. The bucket was dropped, which sent more slimy bullheads and seawater over the aft cabin floor. The slippery, wet creature's 2 sharp horns now firmly lodged themselves in my pants. It shook itself violently, getting in several telling pricks and scratches around my privates. The tangled situation soon became hopeless. In desperation, I threw down my wet pants and stumbled back into the bed towards the V-berth. Somewhere in the back of the boat, a wet fishtail slapped against the hull of the boat. As I dabbed myself with tissue, a bit of red showed in the white paper. Elizabeth leaned her head up in the forward berth. "What was all that about? And where are your pajamas?" "I had a little accident," I said, holding myself, squeezing in beside her. "Don't worry, I will see to it in the morning," which I did. The required vinyl bandage around my appendage was more difficult to explain, and there was little sympathy. "You should really get up. It will be easier, and you'll be much healthier." "Yes, dear, I love you. Good night." And speaking of lovemaking, that was put on hold for a while. Thank you.